The United Nations Human Rights Council condemned North Korea's human rights situation once again this week, giving Macau and Singapore a run for their money. Korea's Yeongjong Island will build a casino to draw Chinese tourists with money to burn. And a campaign begins to bring the Korean Buddhist document Jikji back to its rightful home from a national library in France.
Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Wednesday, March 19th. I'm Luke Clary. North Korea's abysmal human rights conditions were condemned at the United Nations Human Rights Council meeting Tuesday. The North Korean ambassador to the UN walked out of the meeting in protest.
The UN Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights in North Korea presented its final report on North Korea's human rights violations, which were defined as crimes against humanity. North Korea's scourge of human rights violations was compared to those of Nazi apartheid and Khmer Rouge.
Abolish immediately and completely the discriminatory Songban system. Prioritize the fight against hunger and malnutrition.
The UN Commission also urged China not to send back North Korean refugees. North Korea strongly protested to the report's findings and maintained that it had never recognized the legitimacy of the inquiry commission.
The ones to be investigated as a matter of priority, as they killed a large number of innocent civilians.
North Korea again took issue when Shigeo Iizuka, representing the families of Japanese nationals abducted to North Korea, came up to speak. But when Iizuka finally stepped up to address the meeting, North Korean ambassador to the UN, SE-PYONG, walked out in protest. In spite of Ambassador Suh's abrupt departure, the meeting proceeded with testimonies about human rights abuses rampant in North Korea.
In her first cabinet member video conference, President Park Geun-hye urged the National Assembly to promptly pass a revised bill on nuclear safety and address other important issues.
President Park Geun-hye stressed the need to revise Korea's law on the protection of nuclear facilities and the prevention of radiation accidents ahead of the Nuclear Security Summit. The revised bill needs to be approved in order to ratify the resolutions made at the Nuclear Security Summit held 2 years ago in Seoul. If the bill is not passed soon, South Korea would stand to lose international trust and suffer damages to its national interests. President Park urged the National Assembly to demonstrate its commitment to nuclear security since South Korea is working with the international community to persuade North Korea to dismantle its nuclear facilities.
국회에서 다른 법안과 연계해서 이것을 통과시켜주지 않고 있어 참으로 유감입니다.
President Park also pointed out that Parliament is delaying the ratification of a mutual defense treaty between Seoul and Washington, which may hurt the companies and workers in the related industries. She was also concerned about Korea losing its credibility with its closest ally if the treaty is not ratified soon.
국민이 원하는 새 정치는 무엇보다도 국익과 국민을 최우선에 놓는 정치일 것입니다. 여야 정치권의 협조를 부탁드리겠습니다.
The president also instructed the across-the-board inspection on possible human rights abuses in welfare facilities for the disabled and asked the officials to design fundamental solutions to protect their human rights.
A large casino exclusive to foreigners and funded by a foreign firm will open for the first time on Yeongjong Island, an economic zone near Incheon City. Its location could give it an edge over Macau or Singapore when it comes to attracting Chinese tourists.
Midan City in Yeongjong Island is just about 10 minutes away by car from Incheon International Airport. For 6 years, the city was a hollow field. Now a casino that is exclusive for foreigners will open here. The government on Tuesday gave preliminary approval to foreign casino operator Lippo Caesars Korea to open business. The group is a joint venture between Las Vegas-based Caesars Entertainment and Indonesian conglomerate Lippo Group. It's the first such approval granted to a foreign firm to start up a casino business in South Korea.
자체 논의 등을 거쳐 청구인이 투자 규모와 신용 상태 등 청구 자격 요건을 갖춘 것으로 판단했습니다.
The group will build a casino and hotel by 2018 and open a Las Vegas-style comprehensive resort town by 2023 through an investment of some $2.1 billion. The venture expects 80,000 jobs to be created during the construction and tourism revenue of over $830 million by 2020. Yeongjong Island is closer to China than the casino hotspots Macau and Singapore, so it can better attract Chinese tourists.
공항과 가까운 위치에 복합 리조트가 생긴다는 것은 중국인 관광객들의 방문은 물론 재방문 유도에도 아주 효과적인 관광 매력물이 될 거라고 생각을 합니다.
In a bid to discourage foreign investments making return and exciting the country, the government says it will bolster monitoring as in tighter rules and report of corporate earnings and accounting data.
Consumers hate the feeling of being ripped off, and Korea is no exception. Seems like auto repair is one of those sectors that lends itself to the feeling that you've been taken advantage of.
So Young-jae could not drive his car in reverse, so he took his car to the repair shop. Even though his bill came out to be $4,200 to fix the vehicle, the car still cannot go backwards on its own. He has to manually push the car.
임시 반편으로 차 운행하게끔만 고쳐놓고 나중에는 제가 고속도로에서 차가 섰어요.
The repair shop in question had told him they replaced the entire automatic transmission, while in fact only certain parts were replaced.
고장이 난 상태입니다. 전체는 바뀌지 않았습니다.
This time, an undercover KBS News team asked about a car leaking oil to a service center. The mechanic strongly suggested the replacement of other parts, which work perfectly fine.
이걸 갈아놓고 얼마 못 가서 또 타임멜트 간다. 이거 또 공이 또 들어갔어. 타임멜트 작업하면은 이 차가 한 45만 원.
The shops take advantage of the consumer's ignorance of auto mechanics and even go as far as telling them to repair unnecessary areas. In the past 3 years, the Korea Consumer Agency has received some 770 complaints in regards to this manner. Most of them concern substandard repairs and ripoffs.
정확한 진단에 따른 정확한 수리를 했어야 함에도 어떤 예측 정비를 하다 보니까 그게 어떤 수리에 어떤 과오가 많이 발생되고 있고.
But only 38% of the cases involved refunds and additional repairs.
Korea's southern coastal city of Yosu will soon be home to the nation's first cable car crossing over the sea, offering remarkable vistas of the Hallyo-sudo National Marine Park and the city's nightscape.
This is Tosan Park that provides a panoramic view of the city of Yosu and the beautiful South Sea. The construction to build an 85-meter cable car support tower is underway near the park. As it is Korea's first cable car crossing over the sea, the structure is designed in the shape of a fish to harmonize with the surroundings and ensure safety.
다른 그 케이블카와 그 다른 점은 바다를 건넌다는 것으로 우리나라에서는 최초고 동남아에서는 4번째. 속도는 3m/s 정도.
So far, about 70% of the cable car terminal has been completed, so the cable cars may go into operation in as early as mid-May. The distance between Tosan Park in Yosu and Cheosan Park is 1.5 kilometers. A round trip will take about 20 minutes. During that time, the passengers will be treated with the beautiful seascape of Yosu.
해상 케이블카가 조성이 되면 경제적인 효과는 한 1,000억 정도 예상을 하고 일자리 창출은 물론 지역 경제 활성화에 도움이 될 걸로 예상하고 있습니다.
But some residents are still demanding compensations and calling for the city to extend the cable car lines all the way to Odong Island. The city needs to handle these problems before the new tourist attraction can go into business.
Illegal gambling rings that once operated under the radar in residential areas have now even cropped up inside local billiard halls. Gamblers posing as pool players have been caught red-handed.
The police and officers from the Korea Racing Authority raid a billiards room. People inside a secret room at the pool hall are caught red-handed for illegally gambling on horse racing. Magazines filled with horse number entries and stashes of money are found. Racing is well underway on the computer screen. It's a graphic version of an actual race taking place at the Korea Racing Authority racecourse. Someone from the race course gives a play-by-play of the races over the phone, and the operators of the gambling site convert the information into a graphic visual. The gamblers have posed as pool players to avoid a crackdown by the police. The revenue reported at 2 such racetrack gambling parlors amounts to $187,000 in just the past 6 months.
경마장 같은 경우는 1회 베팅 금액이 10만 원으로 좀 한정된 그런 금액이 있어갖고 이런 사설 경마에서는 무제한 베팅이 가능하기 때문에.
The police have arrested 9 people without detention and are chasing after an organization that operated the illegal racing site.
A Buddhist document known as Jikji is said to be the world's first example of movable metal type printing. The Korean cultural asset is being held at a national library in France, but there is a campaign to bring the historical document back to its rightful home.
A signature collecting campaign is in full swing in front of a subway station in downtown Seoul. Its purpose is to bring the Buddhist document Jikji back to its homeland. The organizer of the campaign is Richard Pennington from the U.S. He launched the campaign after he first read about the Jikji and visited Cheongju, where the document was printed.
Why did I start it? Because bringing Jikji back from France is a very important issue.
In just 6 months, Pennington was able to collect more than 4,000 signatures. He also wrote books about the Jikji and Korean history while working for a patent firm. To raise the awareness about the importance of bringing the Jikji back to Korea, he launched internet broadcasting in English.
이미 서명을 받고 있고 온라인, 오프라인, 그리고 본부에서도 하는 일도 다양하게 이렇게 여러 가지 아이디어를 그리고 저렇게 생각하는 걸 보면 열정이 엄청나지 않고서는 할 수 없는 일이라고 볼 수 있겠죠.
Pennington plans to meet with French government officials and tell them about the importance of returning the Jikji.
And it's not easy, and it's taking time and effort and a little bit of money, but that's okay. It's worth it. This is worth it.
The effort of American men to return a Korean culture asset have moved the hearts of the Korean public.
A group of Asian black bears living on Mount Jikji have welcomed 5 bouncing bear cubs to the world this year. Quite an impressive number, park rangers say.
Mount Jikji is getting ready to welcome the arrival of spring. Park rangers carrying tranquilizer guns carefully check the rocks. They came here to replace the GPS devices that were tagged on moon bears. They first find a female bear weighing more than 100 kilograms. Right next to her, the rangers discover 2 newborn cubs. Wrapped in quilts, the cubs look scared and just keep blinking. One cub tries to get its mother's attention, but the mother bear has yet to wake up from the anesthesia. The Asian black bears on Mount Jikji usually give birth to 2 or 3 cubs a year, but this year they had 5 newborns. The 3 mother bears were released into the wild on Mount Jikji between 2007 and 2011. They were brought over from Russia, China, and North Korea.
반달가 송곰을 지리산에 방사한 지가 올해로 10년이 되었습니다. 새끼들 5마리를 포함해서 이제 35마리가 살게 되었습니다.
The Korean National Park Service plans to increase the number of moon bears, which are an endangered species, to 50 by 2020.
Many dieters steer clear of nuts, but the nutrients more than make up for the calories. The health benefits extend to helping prevent cancer, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's disease. Here's more on what nuts can do for you.
Tasty and nutritious, nuts are the latest media darling, branded as a superfood. Here's a family that loves nuts so much that the mother puts nuts in just about everything she cooks. Today, she's stir-frying tiny anchovies with almonds and walnuts. Thanks to the inclusion of nuts, her children are cleaning their plates.
한 가지 먹는 것보다 여러 가지 다양하게 먹는 게 몸에 더 좋을 것 같아서 종류별로 구입해서 먹고 있어요.
There's a wide variety of nuts to choose from. What are their medicinal properties?
견과류는 콜레스테롤 수치를 낮춰주고 심혈관 질환을 예방해주고 그 항암 효과가 기대되는 건강식품인데요. 그 종류에 따라서 장점이 다릅니다. 피스타치오는 혈당을 좋게 해주고 캐슈넛은 심장 질환 예방에 아주 효과가 좋습니다. 아몬드는 견과류 중에서 식이섬유가 가장 많기 때문에 변비 예방과 해독작용이 있는데요. 자기 자신에 맞는 그 효능을 가지고 있는 견과류를 알고 섭취하는 것이 무엇보다 중요합니다.
However, nuts have to be stored properly to reap the maximum benefits. Remember that nuts are essentially seeds that fall from the trees and get buried in the ground, so they can be kept for at least a year. But be careful when storing them at room temperature.
보관을 잘못하게 될 경우 산패하기 쉽고 산패가 되면 그 아플라톡신이라고 하는 독소를 유발하는 곰팡이가 생기면서 이 아플라톡신은 1급 발암물질이거든요. 그래서 간암에 걸릴 위험이 증가하기 때문에 보관에 특히 신경을 쓰셔야 됩니다.
Nuts have a surprising benefit as well. This bus driver claims that nuts did wonders for him.
버스 운전을 하다 보니까 식생활이 굉장히 불균형하거든요. 그러다 보니까 머리에 이제 탈모 현상이 일어나더라고요. 주위에서 이 탈모에는 또 견과류가 좋다 그래가지고.
He visited a hair clinic to see how eating nuts helped cure his baldness. Amazingly, his hair was much fuller than before he started eating nuts.
견과류는 두피를 건조시키지 않는 세련륨과 또 모발을 건강하고 혈액순환을 촉진시킬 수 있는 아연 성분이 풍부하게 함유되어 있음으로써 이 견과류를 하루에 일정량을 섭취하시는 것이 상당히 좋습니다.
But shelling nuts can be a chore for some, so here are some tips to remove the shells easily. For ginkgo nuts protected in small, tough shells, just use a small paper milk carton. Close the carton with nuts inside and heat it up in a microwave oven for 3 minutes. Ginkgo nuts come out shelled and tender, ready to enjoy. It's a real challenge to crack walnuts because you end up crushing them into pieces. For easy shelling, all you need to do is boil the walnuts in water for 3 minutes. You can get your walnuts out intact because the shells have become soft and moistened. Nuts are fun to eat and delicious to boot, but most importantly, they're brimming with vitamins and nutrients. Enjoy the benefits of nuts by snacking on them in moderation every day.
Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.